Second line, though. Welcome in to the DNVR Avalanche post-game show live from the Toyota Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships and presented by Bet365. It's the Winners Lounge with Bailey and Rudo. Avs win 4-1 over the Columbus Blue Jackets to move to 4-0-1 on the season. All right, let's just start with this. The Avs did go 0-for-1 on the power play. I don't care.
No.
It's 0-for-1. They had one attempt, so I'm not going to nitpick that too much. And also, that is close to about the only negative thing I can really take from this game. So
I think that's a win.
Yeah.
In and of itself. I mean, yeah, the power play kind of sucked. That's a conversation for another day, I suppose. I don't know. There's a lot of good to take out of this.
Yeah. Not going to dwell too much on that one minor negative in a very solid game on the whole for the Colorado Avalanche. Let's start off with a 60-second rundown, as we do, so we can run through the game. First period, Avs got the much better of play, but ultimately there was nothing to show for it on either team's end. Some good PK from the Avs, though, so credit where that is due. Second period, both teams get on the board. Columbus first. Just one sloppy play with the puck in your own zone is enough to create a goal. But the Avs come roaring back. They score the next two. Ultimately, it would be 4 in a row unanswered from Colorado from there, particularly the second line doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. You would get 2 goals from Nichushkin, a goal from Nelson, tip apiece for Nelson and Nuke, as well as a goal from Cale Makar to get your goals for the Avs. Columbus would technically put the puck in the back of the net twice more tonight, but neither of those would count. We'll get into those in a little bit, but ultimately the Avs get another 1 goal against game, and the second line has found itself. And now, honestly, the Avs have 4 lines, 4 forward lines that you all like right now. Close enough to a 60-second rundown for me. Let's get into this. Again, we'll start loosely chronologically, and then I'll have 7 tangents, and we'll talk about whatever we get into. But first period, no goals get scored. You like the way the Avs play. The Avs just seem to be built a little bit steadier this year. They're rolling with the punches better when things aren't necessarily going their way. They seem to not get frustrated. I don't know if that's the right way or word or right way to put it, but the Avs seem a lot calmer in general on the emotional roller coaster of any given hockey game so far this year.
I think, and if that's the team we're going to see through 82 games this season, wonderful.
Yes.
That's great.
That
if you can
awesome.
be calm through the storm, if you can make lemonade out of lemons the way that they have, it's hard to be mad at that. Even with, the bad games coming, you see the bad things happen through a game by game basis. It's fun to watch, especially given how things ended last year, seeing how steady things have been through 5 so far.
And there is randomness in hockey. There's only so much you can do when it comes to luck, but there is a little bit of a world of making their own luck in games throughout, like this one. All right, you didn't score in the first. Their goalie's playing really well. You keep working. You give up the first goal of the game off a mistake. You keep working. You get a little bit unlucky with a puck that bounces over Jack Drury's stick on a grade A chance early in the second. There's enough ticks on the scorecard that it starts to feel like, man, a lot of things are not going the Avs' way tonight.
Yeah.
And then you break through, you get a lead, and all of a sudden things start going your way with the called back goals on Columbus.
And I want to give my flowers to Elvis Merzlikins, too. He played a
really
heck
good.
of a game tonight.
The first half of the game, he was really, really good.
Looking at the star, I was not at all surprised to see him as the third star on tonight.
Deserves, totally.
You look back at this game, I was just telling you, looking at a 4-1 game, why is the other team's goaltender listed as a star? He was phenomenal tonight. And with all of that said, Nichushkin breaks through.
Yep.
You get the entire second line on the board.
All of them got at least 1 point. Yeah.
Which is really all we've been asking since game one, is for that line to finally get going. And
they did it all at once.
Yes. I mean, all at once is good too, but if you can get on the score sheet by the end of the night, maybe I don't know. You sacrifice a little bit of production from some other ends too. Maybe not as much production from the first line as you'd like. You see them kind of shuffle things around a little bit throughout the game.
That's going to happen on any given night.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest thing to take away from me for this is even through that first period, you see it get a little rocky in places, but you get on the board and play a decent game throughout from there.
Let me just pull up the numbers, because there isn't a single line that struggled tonight. There isn't a line that you're looking at that you're like, well, the numbers aren't great. Maybe they could improve. Top to bottom, the Avs absolutely dominated. Not a single line on the Avalanche that ended up below 50% Corsi for. Technically, one of the guys on the fourth line was under 50, but the line as a whole was fine.
Yeah.
As a team, just a ridiculously dominant game. Final buzzer, not quite. It's with 4 minutes left, but a decent amount of that is empty net. Oh, look, they updated it. Perfect. Corsi, 73-45 in the Avs' favor. That's 62%. Scoring chances, 43-22. Doubled them up. Shots, 34-19 at 5-on-5. Mm-hmm. High danger, 17-7. That's ridiculous dominance.
Yeah.
The fact that it is 4-1 is only because Elvis played great in the first half of the game.
Yeah. No, and that's what you want to see against a team like Columbus. You'd like to see that every night, obviously. Not every team is going to be a Columbus Blue Jackets or a Buffalo Sabres type team, though.
True.
So the Avalanche being able to take care of business tonight, you go into this, at least me personally, again, I went into this thinking, Columbus is a wild card team. They have very good players in very different spots on the ice. You saw that through with Merzlikins. I thought Zach Werenski was fantastic tonight. Charlie Coyle came out for a couple different opportunities that I maybe the Avs curse isn't affecting them tonight, but that was interesting to see. But no, this is a team you hope the Avalanche can take care of business against, and they did.
And there was, don't get me wrong, it's not that Columbus generated nothing. There was some opportunities where there was some lack of execution on Columbus's side. Yeah. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to apologize for the other team missing out on their opportunities. That's hockey, baby.
This is a team I guess you and me especially expected a ton of shot deployment from.
Yep.
You expect to see a heavy shot volume, and that just was not the case at all.
Held
tonight.
them to 23 shots.
Yeah.
At all strengths throughout the game.
Yeah, which is not what I expected at all from this team, but Avalanche became a little more opportunistic.
Heavily limited them, and not at the cost. It's not like the Avs sludged this game up and slowed it down.
No.
They played plenty of offense on their own side. They earned all of the goals they got and then some, as we talked about earlier. So I think we're starting to see that shift. And I know we're only 5 games in. It's still early. It will continue to be a process for the entire season. But that game against LA, it didn't really feel like the Avs played their brand of hockey. Certainly the game against Utah wasn't their brand of hockey. Even the game against Buffalo, weird start time. There's some stuff going on there. But McKinnon played great, but the team, it wasn't fully Avs hockey all the way through. A lot of Avs hockey in this game, like you just talked about. So
no. Absolutely, and that's what you want to see through first 10-game period or segment is I don't expect them to play great hockey through the first 2 games. They're still trying to figure things out. For the most part, still the same squad, but still, different pieces to try to fit in, trying to find the whole picture in the jigsaw puzzle. It feels like tonight they finally had some sort of solid iteration of the team.
I agree in the sense that I believe after tonight, I don't know how you don't think the Avs have all 4 forward lines rolling, and you love that.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, we did see a couple of shifts of Olofsson with the top guys.
Mm-hmm.
We did see a little bit of, I wouldn't call that a blender. That doesn't go that far, but
No.
You're seeing some adjustments. Maybe you skip over Lekin in a shift because he's PKing for you, or you find those adjustments. And how much is that the Avs are just testing and looking for things, and how much has Victor Olofsson earned that tonight?
He absolutely earned that spot. From his first shift in the first period, he was on fire tonight. He had a bunch of great rushes that I really, really liked, and that's what you're hoping to see from him from game 1. It looked like he's absolutely included in that kind of getting rolling situation. But I've liked everything that I've seen from him so far. And to get that spot on that top, at least a look on that top line, I think is absolutely deserved. It's a shame that we may not see more of that.
Yeah,
down the stretch, just because of how Bednar structures things.
Yeah, I just don't think it's there. Bednar's not there with it. Olofsson did pick up another secondary assist, though. Has 3 points in 5 games.
It's only a matter of time before that goal comes.
Oh, yeah. His shot's too good to keep it off the board forever. But the production's there from Olofsson. You can't... You look at what the Avs' third line has done, and I know some of that is Olofsson moving up and down the lineup, but you have 3 points from Olofsson. You have a goal from Colton. You have an assist from Drury. You're getting a point a game out of your third line.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Yeah.
You're not worried about that. The second line, which we'll get into in a little bit, is now doing what it needs to do.
Yep.
So you're happy there. Your fourth line tonight didn't produce a point, but it's your fourth line. And they went perfectly toe-to-toe with Columbus on the road. Great.
Again, if your fourth line is fine, that's really all you can ask for. As long as they're not in a negative sort of column as a whole, I find that to be a positive for this Avs forward core.
And you're sitting and looking at your top line and saying, oh, it was just okay tonight. Yeah, Nichushkin and Lehkonen both had points, and it was just okay.
Yeah.
So...
No, absolutely.
And this skips the entire conversation of, oh, by the way, the Avs defense had 5 points tonight.
Yeah.
The entire defense showed up and played baller.
And you saw a little bit of Devon Taves kind of start to come out of his shell too, which I'm hoping we see more of, especially in the next few games with some decently tough opponents coming up. That's one thing I mentioned during the pregame shows. I'd love to see more of that offensive production that we know exists for Devon Taves. And we saw that at least begin to come to light tonight.
And I think it's important not to punish the Avs for something they can't control.
Yeah.
A lot of the detractors of the Avs like to say, yeah, well, they beat Columbus. Let's see what happens when they play Carolina. And it's like, yeah, okay, but...
They can play that dominating of a performance against Columbus.
I'm not even like trying to compare. I'm saying they played Columbus tonight. They can't play Carolina tonight. They can only play Columbus, and they won this game handily. They take care of business.
No, and that's if you're playing like that again against Columbus. If you're talking about it comparatively. Imagine what a performance like this does against a Carolina, against a Florida Panthers, against a Dallas Stars in the future.
Probably pretty good.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, certainly.
Especially if their goalie doesn't stop everything for the first half of the game.
Yeah, I don't even want to look at that score right now for them.
Sucks to suck, Dallas. I don't know what to tell you. All right. We are starting to drift into individual player conversation. I did want to get this one in because he is not on the 3 stars, even though he probably deserved to be. Scott Wedgewood, another 1-goal game.
Oh, yeah.
That is 4 of 5 games where he's given up exactly 1 goal that actually counted. Huge. I cannot overstate how important it is for the Avs to have goaltending the way they've gotten it. And did Wedgewood have to work super duper hard tonight? No. But That's the idea. He
Yeah.
is, at the end of the day, the Avs backup long term. The Avs do a good job in front of him, and he matches that with giving the Avs an easy road to victory.
Knowing Coach Bednar the way that I know him, I know this conversation will probably not happen to the caliber that I would like it to, but Scott Wedgewood's creating an interesting conversation for how starting. I don't know, at least in my
I'm
mind.
not a believer. I'll put it to you that way.
No, I like what he's showing so far. I'll say it that way.
You cannot argue with what he's put up. That is definitely true.
No,
the numbers are great.
I love the conversation that he's creating of dominating the way that he has and making himself a formidable force on this team.
Certainly, if he keeps having 1-goal games, you can't take him out. I'll put it to you that way.
No, not at all. I'm certainly not complaining at all.
No, there are no complaints on Wedgewood. That is absolutely true. We do need to take our first break of the show, so let's jump over and make sure we're getting our bills paid. And make sure you check out the Colorado Soccer Association. They're the official hub for over 65 soccer clubs across the state, offering programs for youth players, adult players, coaches, referees, and families who want to get more involved in the game. Your kids can kick off their soccer journey as early as age 3. Whether you're playing for fun, competing at the highest level, or exploring a career in soccer, there's something for everyone. You can also be part of history. 2026 World Cup is coming to the U.S., and the NWSL team here, the Denver Summit FC, is joining up. We just got our season tickets maybe less than a week ago, so we're super excited about that. It's going to be a blast to go check out those games. There's never been a more exciting time to play, cheer, and be a part of the soccer buzz. So if you want to get involved, visit coloradosoccer.org to find a club near you and be part of the future of the game. There's also the QR code on screen with the Colorado Soccer Association. And if you are becoming a soccer fan or maybe a soccer mom, you got to get yourself into the official vehicle of the DNVR podcasts. That is Toyota. They're also an official partner of the Colorado Avalanche, by the way. So whatever you need, whether it be trucks, SUVs, sedans, or anything in between, Toyota has a vehicle for everyone. Whether you're conquering off-road trails or hauling the weight of the world, there's a Toyota truck that's just right for you, like the 2025 Tacoma or the 2025 Land Cruiser. Of course, they also have the 4Runner for their SUV. And whether it's a truck or an SUV, 17 different models with all-wheel drive, so you can go off-roading, or if you just like the extra grip on the roads in the Colorado weather, they've got you covered there. And for your daily commute, they have 16 different hybrid vehicles to choose from, even hybrid trucks like the Tundra I-Force Max. So visit your Front Range Toyota stores at a location near you, including AutoNation Toyota Rapids, Centennial, Corbin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain State Toyota in Denver, Stevens Toyota East in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of DNVR, Toyota. Let's go places. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Before we get into the individual player stuff, I did want to walk through a couple of these goals for the Colorado Avalanche because they were springing opportunities pretty darn consistently across the board. If you're the Avs, and while the early ones maybe didn't go in, what breaks the Avs through is, I don't want to take away the skill. I don't want to say tip goals aren't a skill, because they absolutely are a skill.
Yeah.
But it's not a lot of staring down the goalie and just beating him clean with a shot, right? You have a tip in from out high from Brock Nelson. You have a Cale Makar shot that has multiple screens in front that Merzlikhin just never sees. And then you have a tip in directly in front of the net from Val Nichushkin.
Yeah.
It's the exact type of goals in hockey that you have to play when, again, maybe through the first half of this game, you felt like things weren't going your way. Is that recognition from the Avs and adjusting their play in this game, or is that just the second line finding it?
I want to give all the credit to the second line
Yeah.
as much as possible, but I think it can be both.
Okay.
The Avalanche, once that final crack happens in Merzlikhin's,
Yep.
you see the floodgates almost start to open a little bit. And the Avalanche, I think that kind of helps, in turn, the Avalanche find their groove.
Sure,
Second
I'll buy
line,
that.
yeah, I think there's something to be said about them finding some sort of energy coming into their game once that first goal hits. Now, with all of that said, the second line, I want to reiterate again, was phenomenal. You see them getting in the way of pucks. You see a little bit more of a push. Your tipping's absolutely a skill. So if you can get him in a positionally sound location there, I think that's fantastic. But yeah, most of the credit to the second line there for that, I would say.
I agree. They're going to get a lot of praise through the rest of this show. Yeah, get us to 100 likes, chat. Let's go. I want to do my winner shots. We're almost there. We only need like 15 more.
Yep.
Jump in.
Come on, guys.
Are we ready for the 3 stars? We good to go? Let's hit that then. I promise we'll get back to the second line. I did want to give a 3rd star shout out, though, to Sam Malinsky. And he's the representative of the entire defense here. Again, a 5-point night for the Avs defense. They were great at production for Colorado. Really very little complaints in a unit that I said, hey, there are a few question marks on. I'm not sure how this is going to get organized and how it's going to necessarily look for Colorado as a defensive unit. But they come in, they play great, and Malinsky is the one that stood out to me particularly in the offensive zone, where he recognized pretty quickly what this game was for Colorado, and he wasn't afraid to just let it fly from the blue line. I think at one point in the game I even questioned, I don't love that many shots from out high. I want to see the penetration, but no, the Avs knew better than me. They said, we keep doing this. We'll get people in front. We'll get the bodies where we need to be. And Sam Malinsky set up the Avs for that, not just effectively in the offensive zone, but you look on the night, Sam Malinsky played 15-48 at 5v5. He was on the ice for 3 shots against.
Yeah.
That is, how do you defend better than that? I mean,
this has got to be such a boosting game for a guy like Sam Malinsky, who went into this season with somewhat of a defined role that is not there anymore.
True.
And I think you kind of start to see him crack a little bit too, and saying like you saw what he was capable of in periods throughout last season, and you're seeing that come to light again now. I don't know how that's like this is absolutely my most impressive game when it comes to looking at a guy like Sam Malinsky.
There are games where I think not necessarily Malinsky, but the Avs were certainly looking to shelter Solovyov, as they have been, as he's still getting adjusted to the systems. And Malinsky had such a good game that they're like, well, we can't shelter you this game. You need to go play more hockey.
No, and that's, I mean, for a guy you're trying to, test out and get more vision of moving into the better part of the season, that I don't think that's a bad thing at all.
Some of that might be him being back on that right side for most of the game.
I think that's most of it. You see he is more comfortable there. Yeah. And that's absolutely
pretty
evident
clear
in a game like tonight.
So we'll see. It might become an interesting conversation when Sam Girard is back, how you end up organizing that decor.
Yeah.
But we can move on to the 2nd star, and one of the second liners in Brock Nelson gets the Avs on the board, gets himself on the board. This is hopefully only the beginning.
That hand is magic now.
I guess you just had the blood magic. You needed a little bit of the blood magic for Brock. But I think what really stands out for me from Brock in this game is look at where the second line is producing from. And even Brock Nelson, yes, I know it's a deflection, but it's in the middle of the ice. Getting to the middle is so key for a line of, yes, they're 3 big dudes. They're going to have to play with some power and play in those dirty areas. And Brock getting into that while having enough skill to put a tip on a puck like that out high, that's what that line is supposed to look like.
Absolutely. And that's what we've been hoping to see. That's what you want it's what we've wanted since game 1. Really. You see that come out from line 3. They're passing, they're connected. And you finally start to see that out of line 2 tonight. Starting to get into more dirty areas, getting those maybe not as clean goals. And I personally do not mind that.
No,
at all.
If they go in, I don't care how they go in, as long as they go in legally, I guess. But and then we combine that, and we can kind of talk about the second line as a whole a little bit more here. As my first star is Val Nichushkin. He does pick up 2 goals on the night. One of them is the empty netter, but I did want to stress that. 2-goal game, late, goalie pulled. Who's the line Jared Bednar trusts? It's that second line.
No, and Val Nichushkin's a guy for me who's been kind of building up for a couple games.
These last
now,
couple
too.
games,
Like if this is the high point for the second line as of, so far, Val Nichushkin's been trending the most in that direction for me. This is it's not as much of a hike for him as it is for, or a spike for him as it would be for a Nelson, like a Landeskog, who doesn't have a goal on the board tonight, but still
did get an assist at least,
right?
So you take it where you can get it.
Nichushkin's been the most impressive guy on this line for me by far. You see him rushing. He's a big body who's hard to push through, and he's using that to his advantage.
And I think this goes hand in hand. I've been talking a lot about Avalanche hockey playing the way they want to play. And I think more than any other line so far this year, the second line feeds off of that defense jumping in. You have that Cale Makar had a multi-point night tonight. You had the Malinsky point. Brent Burns picked up a point. Someone else got a point too. I forget who it was. But that defense being able to help drive play the right direction frees up that second line to maybe play a way they're a little bit more comfortable in. Maybe they, at times, I think especially with Nelson and Landeskog, they feel like they need to drive play a little bit too much so far this season. But with that defensive addition and then trusting their blue liners to get pucks in deep to get going the right direction, it looked really good, man.
It's a little more cohesive.
Yeah.
I think there's not as much pressure to be super deep in the zone. There's a lot more of a connected feeling.
Yeah.
I think it doesn't look as forced. I will say that.
It's a good way to put it. Obviously, they're not going to give you 3 goals every single night, but it is a good breakout for them, and hopefully they can continue on this one. All right. Let's adjust to the other side and talk about this for a little while. Well, I think we can all agree the second one, Columbus clearly was a hand pass. I don't think there's anything to talk about with that one. That one was never going to count. The first one, the goal that could have made it 2-2 in the second period. What are your thoughts on that goal, Bailey? Should it have counted?
This is, I think, one of the first times ever where I've been like, either way this goes, I understand.
Yep.
It was just so... It was so weird to me how it happened, because it first, touches the hand, the momentum kind of propels it in. I don't know what to make of it. It was one of those. There's nothing in the rule book for this. I don't know where to go to look for this. The challenge was very strange to me as well.
You can't challenge that play.
No.
For the record, which, if nothing else. If you try to challenge a play you can't challenge, it should be a penalty.
It should.
I'm just saying.
That's a delay of game.
I'm just saying. It's like, I might not know the rules, but you're a head coach in the NHL. You should probably know those rules at the very least.
No, it was very fluky for me. I am still trying to rack my brain for. It's something I'm going to go back and watch tonight.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Chat shouting out that it was offside, so it didn't matter anyway. Whole situation was very weird.
Yeah. The second one, as you brought up, I'm not sure what Cole Sillinger's looking for there.
Blatant volleyball that thing.
If it touches his stick, then I understand the frustration. Maybe he thought it did at first. I don't know what maybe.
I hope because
for his sake, I hope
it's
did.
2025. We have cameras. You're not going to convince them that we can see what happened.
Right. Maybe in the moment, that's the only thing I can think of that's got him that up in arms is maybe he thought it tipped his stick at first before it went off of whoever it was there in front of the net. But I don't understand he got so up in arms about it. And I'm like, that's a hand pass every day of the week.
Yeah, in my mind, there was nothing to talk about there. A good point from Bobby in the Toyota chat. In the modern NHL, it's not uncommon to err on the side of caution, call a goal, and then review things.
Right.
So I do wonder if that would have made the process more clear had they called it a goal on the ice on that first goal.
Bet we would have gotten more explanation had it.
Yeah, but ultimately, neither of them were good goals. We get to move on with our lives. and the Avs' life gets made a little bit easier
Yes.
in this game. Chat, 112 likes. Thank you very much. Here is your medicine from Dr. Dubs. Can we get a few Dr. Dubs in the chat?
Absolutely. Cheers.
A lot of these. 4-0-1. 4 of these out of 5 to start the season. Hopefully there's many more to come.
Wonderful.
All right. Good stuff. We also need to hit our second break of the show. So let's make sure we get in and pay a few bills, as our next sponsor is the fantastic presenting sponsor of Bet365. You can go get in, get your bets in today. Use the DNVR365 code when you sign up with a new account. Put $10 in, bet $5 on anything. You'll get $200 in bonus bets to bet on whatever you want. Did hit the Landy point tonight. Did not get the Makar power play point, unfortunately, but that's all right. I hit my other one. I hit the plus 300 for Columbus under 2. So,
2 for 3 is not bad.
dude, 2 for 3. I'll take that all year. So far, we've been pretty good on the Bet365 bets. So, enjoying it. I'm enjoying the betting right now.
I need to keep up with your bets.
The second you guys start tailing them, they'll start losing. That's how it's going to work. But jump in with Bet365. Again, those $200 in bonus bets are available to bet on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Again, sign up with the DNVR365 code and deposit $10. Bet $5 on anything, win or lose, to get the $200 in bonus bets. Of course, you must be 21 or older, physically located in Colorado. If someone you know has a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER today. And then, if you do win a little bit of money, if you're following my bets, make sure you get with Monarch Money to manage that money. You can jump in. We've used them a little bit. It's a great way to see your whole financial picture. I know, look, it's hard sometimes. You have 5 different accounts. You have your bank account, and then we have my wife's account, and then we have another investment account with another company, and you got all this stuff all over the place. Monarch Money puts it all in one place and makes it all easy to see for you. And you can sign up with Monarch Money today with code DNVR to get 50% off your first year. Don't just take my word for it, though. It was named the best budgeting app of 2025 by the Wall Street Journal. Forbes named it the best app for couples, and CNBC named it one of the top finance tech companies in the world. So jump in and go check out Monarch Money today. Don't let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code DNVR at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DNVR. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Bailey, I know we did our 3 stars, but who do you think was the best player in this game?
I feel like I have to give it to Cale Makar.
I'm good with that answer.
Yeah. I think Cale Makar is my guy. I mean, 400 games, and he does not miss a mark.
Nope.
At all. He checks every single one of my boxes that I was looking for out of him tonight. Obviously, conversion on the power play would be great. Nobody was going to do that with those zone entries. That just
power play was bad.
Not happening.
If you want to call the power play bad, it was bad for sure.
No,
but
this was.
I just don't care.
No, this was maybe the first night for the power play where I've been like,
yeah.
Not that we have a huge sample size to draw from.
True.
But Cale Makar hit every single mark for me tonight. He not afraid to push up an ozone possession, taking not even blue line shots. Like he's sitting and pushing himself up into the play, and I thoroughly enjoyed watching him tonight.
This is true of the entire Avs team, but you go into a game like that, and you know what you're going to get out of someone like Devon Toews. You know he has one of the best sticks defensively in the league.
Yep.
But Cale Makar's defensive stick tonight was actually like a cheat code.
Yeah.
Columbus players would be entering the zone with the puck on their stick, and Cale Makar would just take it. It just did not matter.
It's not getting through at that point.
It was incredible. And I think it's true beyond Cale, though Cale deserves the most credit there. You saw great sticks from Manson tonight. You saw good sticks from guys like Lehkonen and the Avs forwards back checking. Again, I know that top line isn't great defensively, but there were multiple shifts where McKinnon gets in there, helps knock a puck loose, and lets the better defensive players
defensively,
do the
I
job.
thought McKinnon was not bad tonight.
I agree.
Face-off numbers are a completely different story. If you want to talk about a standout for tonight's game.
Pop off.
I mean, Nathan MacKinnon, you can tell he's put some work in there, whether it's the Sidney Crosby effect or
Whatever
not.
it
I
is.
mean, I don't care what it is. He looked incredible in the faceoff dot tonight.
Do we have the numbers on it, or
Let me pull that up here. And looking at Nathan MacKinnon, he was 10 for 17, so 58.8 in the faceoff dot.
You will take that all day from Nathan MacKinnon.
It's much better than Brock Nelson, who was 8
Not
for
as-
17,
not as good.
47.1.
Not as, I mean, that's fine. You're one off from being 50%, basically. It's not. You're not in the 30s.
Yeah, I guess.
You're not getting
That's-
cooked, at least.
I will say Jack Drury was a solid 70% on the power play
He's the
tonight.
man. He's
7
the
of
man
10.
in the dot. If you need to win a face-off, it's Jack Drury
It's Jack
for the
Drury.
Colorado Avalanche.
No, absolutely.
That is what it is on that front for Colorado.
Yep.
Avs 3-0 on the road for this season. Is there something building there?
I'm not mad at it. If there is, I don't know if it's necessarily just on the road though. Like you're seeing good play from them anywhere.
Yep, I don't disagree.
I think again we've mentioned this multiple times. Utah is the outlier for me personally, but you're seeing really maybe puck management's not great throughout the entire game, but
it's
seeing,
a hockey game. You're not going to do it for 60 straight minutes.
Absolutely
Like-
not. But you're seeing them play the way that they want to play. Zone entries, for the most part, of 5-on-5 have been incredible, but that's going to happen when you have Nathan MacKinnon, Martin Netjes controlling most of that. I do want to point out, though, while we're talking about records, the Avalanche are now one of 4 teams without
no
a regulation
losses.
loss. Dallas did lose
Let's go.
in regulation tonight. The Carolina Hurricanes, the Vegas Golden Knights, and the Seattle Kraken.
Ah,
are
yes,
the other
the
three
Kraken. As we
teams.
all, those other two, it's like, yeah, no, this makes sense.
Yeah.
The Kraken's like,
Oh,
okay.
which I mean, they're 2-0-2, so they're getting
That is
points.
no regulation losses.
So I mean, maybe you'd like to see more wins from them, but them being tied with Vegas
Yep.
in most aspects is kind of interesting to me personally.
It's too early to look at the standings seriously,
Yes.
but I think that is worth noting. With a Dallas loss tonight, the Avs are clear-cut in first place in the Central Division.
Yes.
Even they have a game in hand, but even if Dallas and Winnipeg win their games in hand, the Avs would still sit 1 point ahead of them.
Mm-hmm.
So is 1 point that meaningful right now? No, but I do think there is some, call it psychology or whatever you want to call it. Everybody has to chase the Avs now.
Yeah.
They are officially at the top of that division.
Which is, I think, exactly where they want to be.
Yep.
This is a team that's going into this season with a lot of hunger, with a lot of, last season did not end the way that I wanted it to. And I think if you were to ask them before this season started where they'd want to be, this is the exact position they'd want to be in.
Agree.
That one OT loss maybe it's not ideal. I'm not even going to put a maybe in front of that. It's not ideal. But this is comparatively to last season is the best start I would have expected out of them.
Yeah, they have 9 out of 10 points.
Yeah.
Pretty darn good.
That's not bad at all.
Joe, thank you for becoming a new member of the Supporters Club. We appreciate you. If you want to support us, consider becoming a Supporters Club member. Gets you access to the DNVR dubs emojis as well as a bunch of others. By the way, we have a bunch of emojis in the works. We've got plans.
There's a lot.
When they come out, I want to see them at the watch-alongs. I want to see a bunch of spanned abs emojis when we hit them. So consider becoming part of the Supporters Club to get those emojis. It also gets you access to our behind-the-scenes coverage here at DNVR, which, if you want to get to know Bailey a little bit better, tomorrow we're dropping the full get-to-know Bailey interview. So
Yeah.
you're going to want to check that out.
The uncut version.
Her bad food take is up there. It's a good one.
It's definitely not great. I had some others. You put me on the spot. I had some others that I thought of after
Yeah,
that.
you
that
were-
I
you were
really
saying you have a
don't-
couple.
I don't want to say them, so you probably will not hear about them for a very long time.
Someday. We'll find out about them someday.
We'll see.
Getting back into this game, I will say details do matter. When you look at the one goal the Avs give up, it's a little too casual with the puck for the Avs,
Yep.
right? Manson tries to catch a puck out of midair, misses it, should be fine. Nichushkin gets back and gets control of that puck, and just an errant pass across your own zone really leads to a possession that should have never happened.
Yep.
And that's a puck in the back of your net.
It's not ideal. But at the same time, Wedgewood, when it came to rebounds, were a little bouncy tonight.
Yeah, they were fast and loose for sure.
Yeah, and that's the one critique that I think I have of him tonight. But other than that, if that only happens once during a game, I'm not upset.
You're not going to play a perfect hockey game head to tail.
Absolutely not.
So
if that's the one mistake, I'm fine with that. They made up for it in spades.
They did
through the rest of the game, and that's if you learn from your mistakes, like that's all I want out of a hockey game. You're not going to be perfect, but if you can sit there and learn and produce off of being better throughout the next 40 minutes or however long it is, okay,
good,
great,
yeah,
cool.
You give up one goal, I don't care if it's the first goal, as long as it's not the last goal.
As long as it's not the last. That is a great way to put it.
I did want to talk about this game too, because the Avs dominated possession throughout the game. But once they got the lead, there was a shift in the third period, right? That goal at the very end of the second helps. It gives you a 2-goal lead instead of a 1, kind of changes the tone of the game. But we've seen the Avs do this repeatedly now. They did it to Utah, even if they didn't play through part of that game great. They did it to LA in the first game of the season. The Avs with a lead in the third period really don't give up very much. I'll just have the numbers here.
Yeah.
At 5-on-5 in the third, the Avs only gave up 0.82 expected goals against, which that's not like that's the highest of the 3 periods that they played, but that's with a 2-goal lead.
Yeah.
You give up less than 1 expected goal with a 2-goal lead. The actual chances were only 3 high danger chances against. They had 2 themselves. Scoring chances were just 7 for the Jackets, which was as low as it was in the second period. So with a lead, and I think this has been a problem over the last couple of years, which is why I'm so keyed in on it, they're just not giving up a lot. They understand how to close out games this year.
Yeah, and it's something you look at other teams across the league who let up on the gas a little bit with I would call that somewhat of a comfortable lead. It's maybe
comfortable enough.
Enough. And I mean, you said it best. They're not giving up. They're keeping on the gas. You see, again, a Nichushkin reach a different level. You see a Nelson reach a different level. The first line maybe isn't as good as it's always been, but they're still, putting opportunities on net.
Yep.
And being able to stick on that gas, I think, is so important, especially down the stretch. It's a mindset that I'd love for them to hold on to, especially when you go into more difficult matchups like a Dallas, maybe like a Utah down the road, who have proven that they can keep up with the Avalanche in certain cases.
It's not a turtle.
No.
There are no turtle shells here. The Avs, there isn't the torrid offense that we saw through the rest of this game in the third, but it doesn't need to be. Understanding how to play intelligent hockey with a multi-goal lead is important.
Yeah.
And again, we're not that far into the season, but 5 games through, you're over 5%.
Yeah.
It goes quick, and the Avs are doing a lot of things right.
No, absolutely. And through 5 games, that's all you can ask.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
There are worse problems that teams have at this point in the season. And if that, again, we talk about it all the time. If this is the worst problem that the Avalanche are having through 5 games.
There are teams without a win yet this season.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's not great. And there's worse positions for this Avalanche team to be in. But again, they come into this season with such a hungry mindset that it's hard to be shocked.
Oh, yeah. You knew they had a little bit of hunger for this one, for sure. They haven't faced a ton of hard opponents yet.
No.
That other than Dallas, I think that's fair to say. But when you go through a season schedule, you got to play every team twice. And
At
winning
least.
against the teams you're supposed to beat gives you a lot more wiggle room for. They dropped that game to Dallas. They're 2-0-1 on the season. And then you follow that up with back-to-back wins, and you're thinking, you know what? that loss doesn't hurt very much.
No, if that's something they continue throughout the season, they're going to be in a very comfortable spot come game 70, 75, where maybe once you're starting to manage minutes with some of your guys a little bit more, those losses won't hurt nearly as bad either, regardless of who they are against.
Gives you a wiggle room that it feels like they just haven't had for the last handful of seasons.
Yeah.
So it feels good from that point. The other part of this game specifically that I kind of wanted to dive into a little bit more, when you look at Colorado's special teams, yes, it was a bad power play. Again, we'll say it again for you. The power play was bad. They didn't lose the special teams battle. Again, they have yet to play a game this year where they lost the special teams battle. The penalty kill goes 2 for 2.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I was going to say. Even if the power play does suck, special teams looked as phenomenal as always when you're looking at the defensive side of the puck.
Yep.
It's hard to complain when your penalty kill unit is doing their job and not letting pucks go into the back of the net. For giving somebody a shout out on the special teams, Jack Drury was incredible tonight.
Yes, sir. His consistency this year on the defensive side of the puck has been outrageously good. That dude just find pucks and gets them going the right direction.
He, being as aggressive as he is, especially being more inclined to play the defensive side of the puck, is such a relief for this Avs team, because the only guy you're really seeing do that, I don't know, like, only guy I expect that out of that much is Cale Makar.
Yeah.
So, or at least playing it that aggressively.
Yeah.
It's a refreshing sight.
And when the Avs penalty kill has been at its best this year, it's been aggressive. They're taking away space and time from teams in a way that, because of how good their sticks have been, like I talked about earlier, they challenge dudes, they create battles, they win those battles, and pucks get out of the zone, and it makes for easy PKs.
It doesn't give them a lot of space to move either. They're taking away a lot of ice. There's a lot of reach on this team, especially on the penalty kill, which, again, you talk about refreshing. Is
big guys.
Yeah, yeah. So it's not bad at all.
It is good, one might even say. Look, they won a game. They played really well. I think the default answer is don't change anything, never change anything. Keep it going. You're heading towards Game 5, or rather Game 6 of the season against Boston. At what point do you start having a conversation about getting guys into the lineup? Because we've talked about, when does Minor get a game? We've talked about, when does Bardakov get a game? And with the Avs playing so well as a complete unit, at a certain point, it feels like it almost wraps back around, right? Where you're like, well, we can swap one guy out and everything's going so well that we don't feel that bad about it. Is opportunity knocking here for something different? You can look at a fourth line with a real center, maybe?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm of the mindset, like, things are working out really, really well for them right now. And as much as I would love to see a Parker Kelly on the wing, I think with some of the opportunity these guys are creating at the current moment and the way that they're playing, unless something dire happens, unless there is an injury situation, the only guy I can really create a conversation for is Trent Minor. But even then, Scott Wedgewood is playing out of his mind.
It's hard
right now.
It's hard to take him out. I bring up Bardakov because if I had to pick someone who maybe I would have wanted more out of in this game, I think it's Kiviranta.
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, multiple awesome defensive plays, forced turnovers, block shots, gave you what you want from Kiviranta on the fourth line. But you watched a lot of offense just get away from him tonight.
Dies.
Yep.
And it's not ideal from a guy who, rightfully so, earned a pay raise this season.
Totally.
I don't think anybody expected him to recreate what he did last season.
No.
And now that's paying out.
Yep.
And it unfortunately brings up the conversation of if the Avalanche do have an off day and there's maybe something to change up after a bad loss, that becomes the conversation of, does that change if we bring Bardakov in?
So it really, there's almost no individual level to it then, you think? It's really going to take a team loss to start having that conversation?
I think so. Because even with, Kiviranta performing that way in the offensive zone, you can't really complain about what he's doing defensively. In most ways, I would say.
Yeah.
He's, if you're looking to point out one guy who has been worse than all of the other guys, he's the guy I point out, yes. But I don't know, something's working, something's clicking. Parker Kelly, I think, would look better on the wing. He's not performing terribly right now.
No, he's been fine.
I think Gavin Brindley, he eclipsed 10 minutes again tonight. I don't know. I think it does take a group effort for something to change.
Good problem to have, that you're struggling to find room for NHL caliber players. I'll put it to you that way. A great comment again. If your biggest area of improvement is your fourth line winger, you're a pretty good hockey team.
Yeah. No. And then comes the conversation. I mean, this is a different conversation for a different day, but LOC.
Yeah, which makes that conversation even harder. Someone's got to come out of the lineup for that guy, whether it's Brindley or Kiviranta or whoever.
Yeah.
Forward depth, not a problem.
No,
this
not
year
at
for
all.
the Avs,
Which
it would
is
seem.
Crazy considering that the prospect pool isn't much to call home about for this team.
It isn't. It realistically, the Avs need to find success with guys like a Kiviranta. And Brindley is a great find on acquiring him as part of this trade that comes out of Columbus.
The question, I think, starts to become then, though, too, if there's more of a conversation about scratching a Kiviranta, is when do you do that? When is an opportune time to play a guy who, if he does not play for next game, is 6 games cold? Right.
And you have a Boston team coming up here, which is followed by, you're going to play some better teams down the schedule. You have I think it's Carolina and New Jersey are coming up.
Yep.
So if you're trying to find maybe a lighter opponent to get a guy in for a game, and you can be realistic with the players about this, right? You can go to a Kiviranta and say, hey, we just need to get this guy in for a game. You're going back in next game.
Yeah.
This isn't we're scratching you for the rest of the season conversation if it comes to something like that.
This is the kind of roster where everybody is earning their spot.
Yep.
And that question, it becomes a very valid question for Yoel Kiviranta. Like, if he's not scratched for the rest of the season, you have to prove that you can keep up, not just defensively.
You got to earn your spot every day.
Yeah, you have to prove that you can play on both sides of the puck.
Yep, agree. Gavin Brindley got a little bit of PK time tonight. Like, when does that conversation come? And the answer could be never. The answer could be Jared Bednar trusts Kiviranta more than Gavin Brindley, full stop, forever.
Yeah.
But if Gavin Brindley continues to seize the opportunities that he's been given, you do have to make a decision eventually.
Yeah. I would agree.
All right. Not that the hockey stat cards aren't useful. They are a nice way to view individual players in every single game, but take them with a grain of salt. And I say this as a person who appreciates advanced stats a lot. They're important. You should look at them. Any metric that tries to put an entire game into one statistic is never going to be the most accurate.
Right.
And two, even the best models out there are still models. It's important to remember that every model is going to have its shortcomings, and no model is perfect. Otherwise, every NHL team would just use that model and they'd get the exact statistics you'd expect. So, I'm
looking at it as a whole. The Avalanche earned this game.
Yeah, and that's, again, it circles back around. The Avs' biggest problem was a guy who probably had a positive impact tonight.
Yeah.
Sick.
Cool.
They're really, really good.
Yeah.
Columbus we went into this game saying, they could be a bubble team this year. Mm-hmm. Do we still feel that way? Do we feel like the Avs did a good job honestly dominating a bubble team for the majority of this game?
I think if they can neutralize a bubble team, there's fantastic teams coming up ahead. Or fantastic games coming up
Let's
ahead.
go. I am ready for that conversation. Starting to wind down the show here a little bit. You look at Colorado's defense, and I know we talked about this a little bit already. Do we see Solovyov being a long-term fit in this lineup? Or is it pretty straightforward as it is right now that when Girard gets healthy, he's coming out?
That's kind of where I stand.
Okay.
Yes. As somewhat unreliable as many of the defensemen on the Colorado Avalanche can or cannot be, I think it's a surefire thing that as soon as Girard comes back, there's really, in my opinion, no room for a guy like Solovyov unless he goes and blows his game out of the water here in the next few.
Yeah, I agree. We put Malinsky in the 3 stars tonight. Who else is it going to be that comes out?
Right. It's not Malinsky for me, for sure.
Granted, Girard's still week to week, so maybe a little bit.
It's probably not a
off.
conversation we have for a little while again.
For sure.
If it comes down to Girard, Malinsky, Solovyov as being
it's probably Solovyov.
It's Solovyov for me.
It's just the realities of the situation there. I think we do have a couple of super chats to get to, and then we can get to our final thoughts here. Looks like $2 from Banks, who says, second line W Vibes. Welcome, Bailey. And then $5 more from Banks, who says, Bailey with the North Carolina sticker. Shout out Carolinas. Also, go Panthers. LOL. Are you a Panthers fan? No.
I unfortunately am. And it's
sorry for your loss.
Yes. You come to terms with it eventually.
Guys, I don't think you realize how much me and Bailey have in common. It's really crazy.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Well, you can have the Panthers and we'll have the Rockies, all right?
Yeah, we don't really have much of a leg to stand on either way.
Everybody's got to have some pain.
Yeah.
That's
ours. Unfortunately, but yeah.
Bailey, Landeskog took a maintenance day yesterday. Yeah. Played today, gets the point. To my eye, looked great. Again, that second line straight up shut down.
Maybe he needs more maintenance days.
Well, that's what I want to ask you. Not necessarily just Landeskog, but a team that has long histories of injured seasons, I should say. The Avs are off to a great start. Can they look to maybe sneak a day here? Maybe Nate just needs a day off. Maybe Nelson needs a day off. Can they look to sneak some more of these days? Does it make it easier to do that because they started this season so strong?
I absolutely think so. There's what they're looking at right now is nitpicking. Here through the next couple practices, maybe the power play gets an extra practice and here in the next couple days. Again, if that's the biggest problem you're having, I see no reason to not give guys days off if that's what they've earned. Again, you've got a Cale Makar who hit 23 minutes today. I wouldn't mind seeing him get a day off.
Totally.
He's absolutely earned it. A guy like Devon Taves, who maybe didn't get on the board, played an incredible game tonight.
Yep.
If that's how you're managing your minutes, playing the way that they're playing, that's fine by me.
Same. The Avs are, I don't want to say locked in or anything. Again, things are going to continue to evolve. Every day is a new life. But for a team that, beyond just the roster shuffle we saw last season, systemically, it felt like at Game 5, the Avs had so far to go with what they were working with. And this year at Game 5, you're looking at their system and you're going, no, I like most of this.
It's not a laundry list of issues.
Yep.
And that's a positive. And last season was hard.
Yep.
Through the first 10. I don't think anybody's disagreeing there. There's a lot of, this is the bar that the Avs are setting now, heading into this season, is they are capable of this.
Yep.
And if it's just a small to-do list, there's a lot of good to look forward to from here.
Agreed. We can move on to our final thoughts. Bailey, you want to go first, or you want me to take this one first?
Go for it.
My final thought here is the Avs, who the Avs are who we thought they were. There's a lot of belief, for me, at very least, I'll speak for myself, that this year's Colorado Avalanche team has the goods. It has that ability to really get back to where they want to be.
Which is crazy to say 5 games in.
It is.
Yeah.
But, I picked them to win the division. I picked them to have a 55-win season. So far, they're on the path. They're on their way to a very successful year. And there will be downs. There's going to be stretches where they lose some games, where things don't go well. But they're finding ways to win games even when they don't play great. And when they play great, some of these games haven't felt all that close.
No, not at all. I think this is a team who set their goals very early on in the offseason. I mentioned it earlier in the podcast. They were not happy with how things ended. And that's showing through 5 games.
Yep.
This is an angry, hungry, very determined Avalanche team who is not going to let off the gas for anyone, really.
I agree. They seem to understand for lack of a better word, the score.
Yeah.
They know they need to go out and earn it every single night. They've done that. And they get to sit at the top of the Central Division early in the year. They've got to keep that spot, but easier to keep it than to have to climb over a bunch of bodies to get there.
Yeah, and it's refreshing, especially after games like in LA, like a Utah, especially like a Dallas. If they're not sitting in pretty positions, that they will put up fights to win the game. It may not look the prettiest, but I think that's something good to rely on down the stretch.
That's why Landy has to stay on the second line. He's got to keep him pretty, all right?
At least somewhat.
We are going to wrap up this post-game show. We hope everyone enjoyed. I certainly enjoyed that game. If you did enjoy it, like, subscribe, help us out a little bit here on YouTube. Other than that, we'll be back tomorrow for an off-day show. We appreciate y'all, and this has been the DNVR Avalanche post-game show presented by Bet365.
We all silly like the mayor.